here we go. They need to freeze, and I'll put them in a container. Intent is to make this disease my bitch. It's causing me problems, and I'm gonna make it work for me. Hey everybody, this is Brent in Central Arkansas. Today, in today's video, I want to talk about disease management and breeding in disease resistance into tomato. One of the most devastating types of disease that hits me is a form of leaf necrosis. I'm not even sure exactly what it is. I suspect it's one of these four right here. Let me show you. If you know what it is, please let me know. Here's one example. Look at that closely. And I mean, it spreads really quickly. You can see it on the stem here with this particular one. And in fact, everything that's on this row, except for a couple plants I'm trying to save, which I probably shouldn't, I probably should cut it out and get rid of it, are plants that I'm really concerned about. You can see here I've trimmed off all the leaves going way up, and all those leaves, here's another little piece. Let me get it in the sun. All of those leaves are cut out in an attempt to try to save this. Now this is sugar bear. All right, some side-by-side comparisons here. These couple here are pink cherry bear, and over on this side over here is Roma bear, which is a paste I'm developing. I'm not sure which examples yet are going to be fully parthenocarpic, working on that. But anyway, you can see in this one there's some minor areas on this one that have some of the spots. The leaves aren't totally encased in it, but you can see it some on the stem here. Now right next to it is another exact sibling, and this seems to be handling it a little better, but you still get some on the leaf here. So it's not going down as fast. It has a little bit more resistance than this one. Roma bear, on the other hand, I'm not going to touch the plants, is right next to them. Now, animals, wind, or whatever causes this to water splashing, who knows. You can see the Roma bear has a different disease-resistant parent, and there's not much, if any, disease on it. And so that's what I'm after. If you look through to the right of the house over there is my grow room. Behind my grow room is the no-weed garden for the shed. The shed no-weed garden is what I call it. I am seeing this disease that far away over there. So I know that all of these are definitely, being this close, are susceptible to getting the same thing. And one of the good things that I'm noticing so far on these three rows here is a variety I'm calling super bear. I bred in disease resistance into super bear, and almost none of them are being plagued at all by this disease, and that's a good thing. There's bits and pieces, but they're very tiny, and it's not like taking over, going on the stems or the tomatoes like it is on other varieties. I want to show you a couple more areas. Now this is yellow cherry bear, and I'm getting a mixed bag with it. It has some disease resistance from one of the parents. This was a double hybrid cross. In other words, I took two parents, made one hybrid. I did another two parents, made another hybrid, and I crossed those two hybrids together to bring out some diversity. And I've even got some that are starting to turn here, which is really cool. But in this, you can see that there is some disease on some of these. This one's pretty infected actually. I sprayed it yesterday, but I'm probably going to have to take out this one. It's disheartening because I like the fruit on this one. They're uniform and nice size to them. It's a large cherry. But for the I cannot carry forward such disease resistance, non-disease resistance. And you can even see some of it on the fruit here. So this one and this one I'll come out later today and remove. Others are a little better. There's some on this one, but if you go up a little bit, it's not attacking the full plant. This one may get removed as well. Again, a sad thing. Now I put 2 in each pot in a lot of cases, and I've removed some already. But like these 2 in this pot here, I'm not going to touch the plants now because it's not good to touch disease and potentially spread it unnecessarily. It's going to find it on its own. It's so annoying. But anyway, you'll notice, or maybe you can't really notice close up, that these 2 plants don't have the impact of disease. The ones right next to it do. And they're growing healthy and tall. So these 2 get to stay at least for a time. And that's promising for yellow cherry bearing carrying forward. If I go a little bit further down here, you can see some of the same thing going on with some of the others. So I think I can save a couple lines from yellow cherry bear. And then I can grow them in the grow room, and I can infect them in a controlled environment. And then once I'm done with the control or the testing, I can sanitize the entire grow room with some bleach solution. So that was yellow cherry bear. This is red cherry bear. And red cherry bear, for the most part, doesn't seem to be affected too much. It's very small amount compared to yellow and definitely sugar bear and honey bear. The amount of damage is pretty small, so that's good. I'm fairly confident I can find a couple examples from here. I'll be checking, and it can always happen, but that's part of my breeding work, is to get disease-resistant cultivars. So this variety here is just an open pollinated times one of my parthenocarpic varieties that's open pollinated also. And sometimes I'll let you even see this one. You get things like blossom end rot. That's an automatic death. I do not keep plants that are prone to blossom end rot. You can see it on this fruit here as well. That is a no-go. Plus the fruit's inconsistent, so I'll cut this one out. Right next to it, however, some pretty nice fruit. There's a little bit of something going on here that's stippling. I think that's bug damage, but the plant itself and the leaves aren't as damaged or even damaged at all with this particular cultivar. It's very aggressive and tall too. So part of what I grew for red cherry bears, I grew the parent, and the parent I acquired from Europe. It's an open pollinated, highly disease resistant cultivar. I'm not going to give a name to it, but it's a cherry, and I'm using it for its disease resistance, and it is ideal. There is nothing on it at all, and so I'm hoping it carries a dominant gene. I think it does because it is past a lot of the qualities of what's going on right now and giving resistance to the disease that's going on for me right now. So I'm very thankful for this particular parent, which I'm growing also as a comparison, that I have that to use in my arsenal against disease. So I don't know if it's how disease resistant it's to everything. I know it's resistant to blight, early and late blight, but I don't know what this disease that I have is. It could be septoria leaf spot, it could be some other form of necrosis. Whatever the case is, it's devastating to me, and it's devastating probably to most southern regions. All right, I cut these off this morning, so they're already pretty wilted. Now I can't touch any other tomatoes until I've washed my hands and sanitize them. But I'm gathering the material here, and I'm going to bring it into my garage, and I'm going to save it. This is my grow room. It's at the end of my shed. And I would say, I don't know, I've got a video on it. It's a long time ago, like in 2015 or 2016. I closed in the end of my shed here. That was the lawnmower overhang. And the reason why I did that is because I discovered my parthenocarpy at that time, and I had to save the seed. So what I did was, over a short period of time, I built this, and I started growing in here at that time to keep the plant alive and carry forward my parthenocarpic tomato line, which I was able to successfully do. Since that time, this has been my control area for growing parthenocarpy and everything else. Now, this coming late fall, early winter, and all throughout the winter, it's going to be my control room for disease as well. If you know anything about disease, you'll know that they say do not compost disease-ridden tomato plants like this. Anything in the nightshade family, including peppers and potatoes, because it easily stays and overwinters through frozen temperatures and comes back and can plague you if you continue to grow in the same area. And that's why crop rotation every 3 to 4 years is important. So on that, I'm going to use that information, and I'm going to take and add this to the blender here. So I will stuff this in here and bring you back. We have an ice maker in the house, but we also have ice trays in the RV, and the RV refrigerator and freezer are not being used, but I keep it on because I keep beer in there. It's kind of a man cave when we're not RVing. So I'm going to take advantage of that for this, because again, my wife does not like me doing this kind of stuff, really. It's unseemly to her, and that makes sense. So I'm going to put these on here, compact it down, and we're going to freeze them out in the RV. Here we go. They need to freeze, and I'll put them in a container. My intent is to make this disease my bitch. It's causing me problems, and I'm going to make it work for me. Fits perfectly in this container. Now I'm going to put it back in the freezer, and we'll attempt to use it as a tool for good. No matter how you slice it, whether it's here in the no-weed garden for the shed no-weed garden, or the main no-weed garden, I have to stay on top of this. If I'm not out here removing infected leaves and spraying on a regular basis with fungicide, then this can definitely get out of control and ruin everything I worked for this entire year. Because 2 years ago it did. It absolutely devastated everything, and I was very frustrated by that. So I've made up my mind then, even though I was breeding a little bit for disease before that, but I made up my mind then that I am going to absolutely terminate whatever this is that keeps giving me hell. And so that's what I'm doing, and I thought I would share my journey as I go.
How long do we gotta stay here for people we don't know in one lines? All of the cars and who knows who. Yeah, I know what they wanna say. They're gonna ask me if I'm gonna make it. I don't care if I'm gonna have to fake it, long as I can be real with you.